Give money. Well, America, you know it's a big deal when I do the introduction into an episode. I told Chris, I was like, oh, I'm getting this. Okay, because this dude has been laughing at me the entire time because DeWAN had great questions. He was like, you know what? I just want to know. Because you know what? I feel like he's a lot like myself. He is a United States traveler. He has seen some things. You know, when you go from Billings and Columbus all the way out to Corvallis, and then you get drafted to Baltimore, and then you head up to Buffalo, and then you come on down to Carolina. Like, you've seen some shit. No, you keep your hand raised until I'm done talking. I'm fine with that. I'm going to get my point out. But God bless our guest, DeWAN Edwards, for coming on here, making me look like a G in front of the fiance, and she's just eating her flatbread pizza. She don't really give a shit. She's like, just have fun, honey. Whatever you're doing, get the hell off the phone. I got something to tell you. That's where she's at right now. She's like, stop that shit. But yeah, I know. I'm gonna have one of those soon too. I'm gonna have one of those on my finger too. But I want to get back to just real quick, the guy that I saw, and we started talking about Rod Green, and we started talking about Todd DeVoe. He went to this school, and to me, it's the biggest regret I ever had because they actually wanted me to transfer there, so I could have not went 8-25. I could have won. I could have won some games and played next to this guy. And the guy's Delaney Walker. He's the only guy I ever played against, because I watched everybody that played my position. And, you know, obviously being in a school like that where here's a guy that wore 84 and caught 84 passes his 2 true starting years. And I was like, well, I know what happened my junior year. We didn't click, but in 3 games, I became an NFL prospect. Not a big deal. But Delaney Walker was something different. And we were talking about Todd D. And Todd D, I had a lot of respect for. Competed against him in track. Todd D was an athlete. Roger Green, I have a lot of respect for. Hell of a player. We talked about other things off the air, but I love Rod Green. And the fact he went in the 5th round, when you go top 5 rounds out of D2 in that era, 2002, that was unheard of. Like, that wasn't, like, it's a thing now where somebody in D2 goes in the first 2 rounds because it's like, we found the gem, you know. And that era, DeWan's era, because DeWan, Chris, and I are all the same age, America. Guys from D2 were not getting drafted. Like, that was not a thing that happened.
Unheard of.
They all you got signed, and you were, yeah, we like you. You should make it through here as long as you don't do Chris Turner shit. And, you know, go out every week. You'll make it.
Yeah.
I had a teammate, Alfonso Pugh. You'll see our banner soon, who did our banner for the show. That was due to injuries. It cost him from being drafted to being signed, and he made it all the way to the last camp the same year Andre got drafted, Andre Johnson in Houston. Just because he was there, he studied and did everything, and he just made a decision. He was probably, you're the D2 guy, like, you're out. It was like the first year of the Texans. Second year of the Texans, because Andre was their 2nd draft pick. David Carr was their 1st draft pick. Andre came the next year. And that was when Punch got drafted. So shout out Punch. But Delaney Walker is the only guy I ever said that he's the one guy I can't do what he does. This dude was 6'1", 235 pounds, and he played in the slot. And I got 2 football guys that know what that means. Here's a fullback's body.
Yep.
Lining up in the number 2 receiver. Like, he didn't go outside much. Josh Mason, Chris, you're going to meet him at the wedding. And he always tells a story about when we played him, because Delaney transferred in out of USC. And that's what we were talking about off the air. Central Missouri State was the wasteland for stud Division I players that wanted to go and give themselves a chance. And Josh Mason, who's literally the same height, weight as me, step and a half faster. Like, Josh Mason should have been in the league. And I always tell him, I was like, I don't know why you didn't use that. I was bringing these people here. He was like, dude, I never wanted to do that. And I was like, I respect that, because shit. I mean, the 4.42 got him there, but the 4.33 he was running at 6'4" and 210 pounds, that had got me signed. I wouldn't have had to play football. And I'm like, hey, come here. 4.33? Yeah, come here. And he told me this story. He tells us all, and we all laugh about it to this day. And you'll hear it at the wedding, Chris. He talked about the first play of the game with Delaney Walker. It was a run play, and Delaney was on the backside of it and just was blocking Josh up. Josh is taller than him because Delaney's only 6'1". And after the whistle blew, Delaney looked at him and just yelled, "Nothing! Nothing!" And Josh was like, what the? Okay, so this is the mentality of this guy. Like, he knew exactly where he's at. He's from LA. Like, I'm pretty sure he's LA born and raised. If I looked it up, we didn't do any research. The fact that he knew Todd and Rod, like, I'm just rolling right now, America. That's why I love DWAN. He knows guys that I played against. He knows the D2 game on accident because these guys all got drafted the same year and signed the same year. He caught a 70-yard slant on Josh because Josh traveled. Wherever our number one went, Josh was our number one corner. Josh Mason ran a 4.33. I saw it with my own eyes. He's the only guy that I played against. And Ryan Bonner will hate that because he believes that he beat me in a foot race. Ryan Bonner, I love you. You are the co-best man at my wedding. Did not beat me in a foot race. Okay? Like, let it go. Josh Mason's the only guy that I ever played with that could beat me in a foot race that I played with. And he outran Josh Mason's 4.33 to the end zone on a one-step slant from the slot at 6'1", 235 pounds. I said, I couldn't have done that. Josh would have caught me at the 30. At some point, he was going to get me. Like, that's just me. And I ran like, rabid Rottweilers were behind me. That was always my image as a receiver. Like, dude, a pit bull's going to get you.
You ain't going to tell nobody they're going to catch you unless you know they're going to catch you.
Like, he had a legit, like, I ran 4.32, he ran 4.33, which means at some point, unless
you're fast, you know if someone's fast. If you're fast,
Josh was that fast, and he could not catch Delaney. So Delaney with a football in his hand was special. One-step slant, 70 yards to the house. I said, okay, this dude's for real. It's the only time I ever said that in my career. And
I'm gonna second that because I've seen Delaney Walker play and seen what he
can do. He is
from an H to a Y, like you said, going out to the slot to be able to play multiple positions.
He played fullback. That's it. Like,
man, my man's got an incredible skill set, like for sure, and that made him incredibly valuable in the NFL. And that's really what the NFL is all about, is really making yourself invaluable to a team to where they can't cut you. Because, man, it's hard as hell to make a team. So if you got a skill set that's going to make you valuable to a team and make them not want to be able to cut you, that's what Delaney Walker had, man. So, man.
No doubt.
That dude, I can salute to that man because that man can play.
Yeah, he was a dog, man, and he proved it, being a Pro Bowler in the whole nine. But, that's why I look at the fiance. I say, listen, this kid either playing golf or he's long snapping or punting. I'll tell you that right now. We're going to give him a skill. If you got any eye-foot coordination, I'm going to have that finger just like this. I'm like, son, just come on. Don't kick your dad's finger off. You start booting field goals, it's on. We're going to get you paid, baby. We're going to get you paid. We might let him go to Alabama. But you know what? I'll send him to Corvallis, man, because if you can kick in them conditions, Oregon State be having the fog up there. Remember the Fog Bowl with you probably had a bunch of them games, but the one I remember is the one with Reggie, Matt, their years. Did you play in that game?
I was not there that game, but I did play against that SC team with Reggie and Liner,
Lindell and all them guys.
Yep.
Yeah, no wonder Ken was like, well, look at what's going on at USC. They go out there getting on it. I don't need Reggie Bush or Matt Liner to show, so I'll dog them all day. No wonder Ken was so mad about that $600. Like, what they doing? And is Ken from LA? Is Ken in California? Is he Bay? Where is he from?
Ken is from Pittsburgh, California, Northern California.
Yeah, okay. So he's way north of me.
Yeah.
So Ken knew what time it was.
Yeah,
I just want to personally say that if you send your kid to Alabama on a kicking scholarship and he can actually kick, He'll probably make more money in college than he does in the NFL.
Well, you guys actually got a kid right now. That kid did his
Damn
thing.
right we do.
That kid's gonna actually, he's gonna be all right. He'll be in the league. That'll be the first Alabama kicker since.
He's the first. Hey, Walt, can I ask you a question? How does it feel that you went 8-25 in college and we have 18 national championships? Is it the same? Is it?
Well, based on the fact that you've now played with me, just imagine if I'd have been your teammate.
You might not have played because all the alcohol abuse that went forth my 4 years of college, and I was like a modest drinker. No, I don't think you would have survived.
I think that's the opposite. I think Truman turned me into the drinker I was because that was the norm thing to do. And I went to a school like you guys, I would have did what the norm thing was to do. I probably would have ended up pledging. I'd have been Omega Psi Phi. Like, that's my granddaddy. But I would have probably pledged. It would have been cool. Like, coach would have been mad, but they'd be like, hey, it's all good. Like, we're going to whoop your ass, but we ain't going to whoop your ass that bad. I always feel like Chris, like, he got ass whoopings, but they were kind of cool on his ass whoopings because, like, at the end of the day, I'm not going to go there because I don't want to have 1914 coming from me, DWAN. That's not what I had.
Before we hand it to DWAN to tell us why he retired, first of all, for my time online, first of all, matter of fact, before even that, I just want to say this to the camera. Phi Beta Sigma is a non-hazing fraternity. Any rumors of hazing, it's fake news.
Word.
Phi Beta Sigma teaches us about culture, foundation, and strength as men.
So let me understand this: that you're gonna tell that lie on our show, but tell other truths on our show. I don't.
That's
really
not a lie. Listen. There are certain things that we all must go through as men, but as a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, we are a non-hazing organization.
Anyway, let's get off that. So, America, because I'm not even going to do that because that's just shame on you. You try to get Baze more. Now we have to have Baze on the show this week. You try to get Baze fired every time he's on this show. And you're going to do that bullshit. Like, get out of here with that nonsense. Shout out to DeJuan Edwards over there finishing up a glass. And you know what? I hope he pours just a little bit more in our last segment because we were off the cameras here in America and we were talking about just certain players, but DeJuan wanted to get, on wax a certain topic, and I'm going to let him lead the way because obviously he's given us such great, enlightenment into all this, but you wanted me to ask you? I'm going to ask you. What made you retire?
Oh, man.
You sure you don't want to pour a little bit more of that Taquilieri in there?
I can't say that it was just one reason, but one, I definitely made enough money. Two.
Wait, I gotta wait. You gotta get golf.
I had made enough money.
I gotta give you that.
To where I felt like that wasn't the issue. Money was not the issue. Two, injuries, man. I had a neck surgery. I had an ankle injury the year before, and it was just coming to a point where in the NFL, man, they're trying to pay you less and they're trying to play less. They want the next young dude. They want some dude with potential that, they paid low, that it's going to be the next star. So that's just kind of how the league is. So it just came to a point where, man, I played 12 snaps in the Super Bowl, and I was just like, man, I don't know, man, if I got that in me to get 12 snaps in the Super Bowl, man, and not have a whole lot of chance to make a difference in the game. It just wasn't worth it to me at that point in time. And Coney Ely. So had we won the Super Bowl, Coney Ely would have been Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 50. And if you don't know that name, Coney Ely was a second-round pick out of Missouri for the Carolina Panthers. And I'm not sure if it was it might have been 2014, the year before that we went to the Super Bowl. But we talked about another player, and I won't even say his name, but not being a very intelligent football player. And when I said this guy was the least intelligent football player that I've ever met in my entire football career, that would be a true statement. When I say this guy was one of the least hardest workers that I've ever seen in the NFL, that would be a true statement. When I would say that this guy at one point in time told me I didn't realize I would have to work this hard in the NFL.
Yo.
I was like, I don't know about this guy. So this guy had 3 sacks and an interception in the Super Bowl and was almost the MVP. If he would have won, he would have been MVP of the Super Bowl. He had 3 sacks and an interception on Peyton Manning. He's the least intelligent person that I've ever seen on the football field. He's the least hardest worker that I've ever seen on the football field. So, like I said, I got about 11 snaps in the Super Bowl, and I think I had 1 tackle. I'm probably in the 95th percentile for people that I've seen work extremely hard. That had to. I had to work hard. Like I didn't have I couldn't take days off. Like I wasn't good enough. Like I had to be that guy. I had to be a hardworking guy. I had to hustle. I had to run to the ball every play. I had to be right, get the plays right every single time. Like I had to be that guy. This guy was not. And like I said, he was almost a Super Bowl MVP of the league. It was time for me to leave, man. It was time for me to get out. I could not work as hard as I worked and see some dude that put so little effort into this game almost be an icon, or like he could have been, for real, if we would have won that game, he would have been MVP. It probably would have been immortalized forever. And he would have paid him. He could not draw a front on our board, like an over front or an under front. He could not write on the board. Like I'm not trying to I like the kid. I tried to help this kid. At one point in time, I had to stop this kid from beating my D-line coach's ass because he was just on him all the time for fucking up all the time. Man, slow is not even the word to explain how not football smart this kid was. But he almost had 3 sacks and he had an interception in the Super Bowl. He's almost MVP, and it was time for me to leave because I'm just a hardworking grinder. I'm a smart guy. I'm not gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna be where I'm supposed to be, and I'm gonna work hard. And it was time for me to go because I just couldn't handle that. I wasn't equipped to handle that.
Let me pose this question, and I'll even answer it first. DWAN, you were from Columbus, and then I'll go a long way to get to a short point of it. Like I coached around here for a little bit, just for a short minute, and then I realized that I can't coach kids now the way essentially like we were coached, kind of coming up. And we've had this argument before, whether it's like the coach or the kid, and like we honestly kind of fall in the middle of that one. But like I said, I'll go first to answer it, but when it's your turn, tell us why you chose Oregon State, because now kids in this region, like they're happy just going to, and this has, I don't discredit the schools whatsoever, but like they're happy just going to Montana State, Rocky, Montana Western. Like the reason why I chose Florida State over Michigan State, USC, Georgia, Miami, and
I can answer that. Right, you chose it because of Bobby Bowden and
exactly.
Money.
Like I wanted to play ball. I wanted to
Our era, it's Bobby Bowden.
Exactly. I wanted to be forever connected with one of the greatest coaches at that time, because if you think back to that time, like Nick Saban was good, but he wasn't like Nick Saban.
He wasn't Nick Saban.
Joe Pa, right. Joe Paterno, before we knew about all the stuff that's happened, Joe Paterno was more of like a northern guy. Like Southerners didn't really rock with Joe Pa like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer was good, but he was just like the coach at those small schools good. So
Urban was at Bowling Green.
Exactly. Like he was a small school coach that was good. Then you had Pete
DWAN,
Carroll.
my research is coming out now. Like I'm doing my part now.
Then you had Pete Carroll, which I took a visit to USC. Pete Carroll, I'll say this to the coaches I had at Florida State and Alabama. Pete Carroll is one of the greatest people coaches I've ever seen because like he relates or he's just that good of a recruiter. And like they had Lane Kiffin and all this other stuff, Ed Orgeron on staff. So it was a great staff. And who
was on staff? Who would have been your position coach?
Ed Orgeron would have been my position coach.
Eddie O. That's Chris's boy.
But like he had a great staff. But I wanted to be forever connected with Bobby Bowden. Like I knew if I went to Florida State, like at that time anyway, God, not now, but like you were a top 10 team. And I wanted to be a part of that.
I want to second what you said. Growing up, I'm watching Peter Warwick. I'm watching Florida State is the team. I'm watching the program, the movie. They're basing their stuff off Florida State, man.
Exactly.
Florida State is the premier program in the nation. Like it's Alabama. What Alabama is now, Florida State. That's Florida State. Like
right.
Football. Charlie Ward, the Heisman, man. It's Florida State, man. They're producing NFL talent every year. Like that's where you're going. Like I understand that. So for me, like I said, kids in Montana, they're not believing they can go compete with some of these kids from Florida State and whatnot. So for me, I was either going to University of Montana. Luckily, Oregon State was in the picture. You know, Dennis Erickson took over as head coach while I was, I believe, is my senior year of high school. And like you said, he's kind of got the credentials as well as a Miami coach, as winning a national championship, as coaching the NFL, and he's got all this hype with him. And even though I'm at Oregon State, a team that hasn't had a winning season in 30 years, we've got all this hype, and we've got this new coach, and we've got this new direction that we're going to, and we've got all these recruits, and things are changing. And you know, our first year, we have our first winning season in like 30 years. The next year we go to the Fiesta Bowl, and it's just like, man, this is crazy how things change. And
Simonton was the Fiesta Bowl, right?
Yeah, like you said, it's amazing how a coach can just change the culture of things and have people thinking about winning, have guys thinking about going to the next level.
You know, DWAN, I hate to cut you off, but I just want to add to your point and let you get back going. Dennis Erickson might be one of the most slept-on coaches in the history of football. And I would challenge anybody that loves, especially if it's college football, you need to go watch the U Part 1, Part 2, 30 for 30, and listen to his players talk about him and what he did when Jimmy left, and the fact that Dennis won 2 titles doing the same. Like, Dennis was like, well, if it works for Jimmy.
But that's the thing.
I will do the same shit.
I don't disagree with you at all. But just like you said, like, look who he came between.
But Chris, he won a title with his players, though.
Oh, no, I agree. I'm agree.
Those were not Jimmy's guys by 91. Like, Jimmy won in 87.
87, 88, something like that.
And was a Cowboy by then. Dennis came right after him. They didn't win again until 91, but they were always 11 and something. And that's what DWAN is saying. He went out there after he was in the NFL,
right?
Went to the Seahawks. They were like 8-8, 9-7 teams. They were average. Sounds real similar to Nick Saban. And then Arizona State picks him up, and Ken Simonton and them, they were undefeated the entire year. Like Oregon era was like Oregon State's undefeated. This is back when you actually could be an outsider and you could get to that game. Unlike now where, COVID happened. But, I'm not going there. Talk about your 18th title that's asterisk.
You mean the undefeated title that you couldn't even get past a team that they didn't even win a championship?
No, we did our job. We softened them up for you. You're welcome, bitch.
You softened them up? Go ahead, Devon.
Was Rowan Harper there when you were there?
Yeah, Rowan was there. Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, Rowan was my free safety.
I'm gonna send you the video. World. Hey, I know, and you play with Roman too. Listen, I'm gonna send you the video that thank God for his teammates that like to shit on him. Let me show you the video of Roman Harper. He got scored on, but he fucking dominated that game. And Matt Jones making Chris Turner look like shit. It made my day.
Can I plead my case real quick?
It made my day.
All right, no, I'm gonna plead my case. Fuck that. This is my show. I'm gonna do it. All right. So the one like y'all ran zone defense from time to time where the D lineman had to drop back.
Yeah.
Okay. So the whole week we going into it. All right, listen, they got McFadden, they got I forgot who's the big running back that Arkansas had.
They didn't have McFadden back then.
Who was the white boy? Toby? No, that wasn't Toby
Hillis. They had Peyton Hillis.
They had Hillis. Okay. So they had Peyton Hillis and they had fucking Matt at quarterback.
You better say his first and last name for our show.
Cocaine Cowboy, Matt Jones.
Exactly. There you go. So they had Matt Jones at quarterback.
Who?
And I'll tell you about that part too.
Oh, Matt Jones. Who? Matt Jones. Who?
So the whole week they were talking about, all right, listen, if you got to drop back in coverage, make sure that if you see the quarterback scramble, you stick back in your zone and try to chase him out of bounds. Cool. Went over that the whole week. It's like the 9th play of the game. We got him pinned back. We run a zone blitz. I jab in, I go back out. I'm covering my third or whatever, looking so DB-like as a defensive tackle. Head on the swivel. I got the towel hanging. I got the gloves on and everything. I'm ready for a pick. He scrambles out. I'm like, oh, I'm about to make ESPN top 10 real quick. I run straight at him. I have never seen a faster white man in my life. This man outran me by 8 yards on 2 steps. Then he ran over a linebacker and then outran 2 of our DBs to go score. Got into the end zone, jumped into the band and started yelling out, Matt Jones. Who? Matt Jones. Like, you know what? I hate football. I'm done with this shit.
Hey, D, I mess with him because I didn't know like that. This was his boys. Like, so I want to shout out Dre and Darwin and all these guys. Like, thank you for the video. And this is what I've already decided this last 6 minutes. We can't do our Give Me a Minute, so there will be another Zoom because I'm not going to cut DWAN's Give Me a Minute to fucking a minute. And no, we need some time. This has been a great football conversation today. But speaking of Matt Jones, I have so much respect for Matt Jones outside of the drug use and that he messed his career up type deal with that, but he's probably a good dude. But when you see Chris Turner chasing him, who I can see why Chris Turner had a cup of coffee. Chris Turner looked about 4'6". With the same, maybe 20. He was moving. But Matt Jones, America, let me help you understand, like, our era and why some of us that are, DeWan, I should play in the league, but some of us that are fans of the league, like, it takes a Lamar Jackson type talent. Matt Jones ran a 4.3 low, and he was 6'5".
Yeah.
He was huge. He was 6'5". I think he measured 6'4", 3, like 7/8 or 6'5" at the combine. And they looked at him and they said, dude, like, and it was true. Like, you can't throw a pass to save your life in the pocket. But man, if you can't be the great white hope we've been looking for at this position, we're gonna draft you in the first round.
Yep.
But, them Jimmy Smith demons got him in Jacksonville. Like, it's Matt Jones was one of my favorite college football players. I didn't even know who Peyton Hills was till the Madden cover. I'm just bullshitting. Peyton Hills had a hell of a year.
You damn right he did.
I'm bullshitting on that part. Peyton Hills was what I thought was going to be the ultimate death. But shout out your team, DWAN, and what we've called in this show. We've talked about it. Shout out reverse racism and Christian McCaffrey being the stud that he is. I can't wait for him to get healthy next year. That dude's pissed. That dude played in 3 games and had like 6 touchdowns.
He's special, man.
Yeah.
Man, what if you'd have had Christian in the Super Bowl? Like you had Jay Stu. Jay Stu was a dog. Jay Stu played with you, right? Was Jay Stu in that game? Who were your running backs by then?
Yeah, we had Stu. I played with D'Angelo for a little bit. We had both of them for a couple of years, but Stu finished out with us.
Stu was your starting running back, I thought.
Yep. He finished out. My first couple of years, we had D'Angelo Williams too. The mouth of the South is what I call him.
Yeah, Memphis finest right there. Shout out to 901.
But Christian McCaffrey is special, man. I don't know what they're going to do with him or how they're planning on using him. But he is special. He can do it all.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, Mac. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, D. I'm not saying the fiance wasn't a college athlete or anything like that, but I know what got McCaffrey to be what McCaffrey is. Ed was like, "Yeah, Mrs. McCaffrey, All-American." And I know for a fact this one right here, I'm pointing all the shit she's in there plucking eyebrows. I don't know what the hell she's doing. In our little small. See, it's the San Jose. Like DeWan is like, y'all are in y'all different spots. RS is chilling. Zoe was in the shop, and now she's doing Zoe stuff. All your kids are spread out. Mrs. Edwards is upstairs. I know what Callie's doing it all the times in this podcast, right? She goes, I was plucking my eyebrows, for real. How did you know that? I'm a genius. That's how I know, babe.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, the point is that I know for a fact, are we going to have football kids? No, I don't want them. And I might talk to you. That might be our next topic. I don't want football kids. I'm actually scared I ain't going to have no boy. They have a whole girl runoff going on in their shit.
Yep.
But I know for a fact she ran track to one. And I said, listen, I'll take me a Lolo Jones or I'll take me a Klay Thompson. I'm good with that because her daddy's 6'6". I'm good to go. Listen. Papa Pomeroy, I got you, baby. I know the kid's going to be an athlete because she's athletic. Yeah. And that's how Christian McCaffrey happened. Ed, I feel like her name is Lisa. I feel like it's Miss Lisa. I don't know. I've seen, watching their NFL films. It's hilarious. Y'all might look it up. So, Mrs. McCaffrey, if I fucked your name up, I'm sorry. I'd love to have you and Ed on the show. But that's how you do that shit. That's how Christian McCaffrey was literally born in a lab. She was an All-American at Stanford, and Ed's a goddamn beast.
Yeah.
That's literally a test tube, baby, without a test tube. It's like we'd have to try, let's just do this, and whatever comes out is going to be this. And 4 of them came out. I need to ask Ed McCaffrey. I mean, you know what, Ed? You get them 4 boys. I'm over here nervous as hell. But America, normally after the 3rd show, we did a Give Me a Minute, but let's be honest. This is the special of special guests. We got to do one more just to get our Give Me a Minute because I was not going to confine DeWan Edwards to a little 30 seconds. So, wow, you're going to have a whole lot of DeWan Edwards content coming up, but we'll be right back. What's good?
What's good, America?